All right, welcome back. Now you see the title where I pointed out that it's diabolical to call child killers legends. But in drill culture, that's what you have. They call these gangsters who got a lot of hats. They call them legends. And they admire these, child unalivers. They look at them as heroes, as like gladiators. It's real crazy. Drill culture is something that's real crazy, and it's hard to fully wrap your head around it. The chaos, the violence, the conflict, how young most of them are when they start doing stuff. It's just crazy. Chicago is different, man. It's different. And they should have been sent specialized help to help that city, man. You also notice it's the most neglected. It's not only a neglected city. The people who govern society work to make it worse. They don't want to help it. They want to make it worse and worse. That's why they were selling the gang members military grade weapons. They was trying to crank everything up, and they did. But what I want to talk about on this stream real quick is a gang set by the name of STL, and it's really like tied in with another set called EBT. STL is 63rd and St. Lawrence in Chicago. You can look it up on Google Maps. 63rd and St. Lawrence in Chicago. EBT, a lot of people refer to EBT as everybody trapping, but from what I understand, it really stands for Eberhard. I think it's 64th and Eberhard. But that EBT is because they're located on Eberhard. And there's a number of people when it comes to STL, not EBT. When it comes to STL, this gang set, and they also created a rap group called FBG. FBG. There's a narrative that they were like a bunch of dancers, and that it wasn't that many of them who was hotheads. Wasn't that many of them who did dirt, who did bad stuff. Sometimes they're referred to as like goofies and stuff like this. And listen, man, you cannot escape the demons in that city, period. I want to focus on FBG Young, because he's seen as like the goofiest or the lamest, the guy who was not into putting in work at all. His thing was just to make music. But there's this narrative that they didn't have that many of them that were bad, and most of them was like goofies. They wasn't no real gangsters and stuff like this, And I'm saying, listen, man, they were all possessed by demons. Every single one of them. The Keisha curse is going to get you. It's going to get you, man. Not only is the Keisha demon going to get instilled into you, that environment. You can't grow up in that environment and not be a product of it. It's very rare for stuff like that to happen. I don't care. See, this is why I don't make personal stabs at individuals from these environments, because the environment contributed a lot to how they turn out to be. You can't just grow up and be no innocent dude in these areas. You can't. You have to be on the same wavelength as everybody around you. And if the culture is that you got to be tough, you got to put in work. If not, you're going to get bullied, you're going to get beat up, people going to take your stuff. Okay? Is that do you want to remember your childhood as you always having stuff taken from you? People take your jewelry, take your money, beat you up, take everything you got, slap you around whenever they get bored. Don't no man, don't no boy want to grow up being treated like that. So what they do is they click up with their set. They become a member of their set. Okay, so it's a twofold. It's the environment and it's the abuse they get from their single mothers. Both elements contribute a lot to how these young boys turn out and to how they behave. Okay, you dealing with a gang-ridden communities, and you're at home getting your brains beaten out, getting verbally and physically abused by your black male hating Keisha mother. That's a recipe for disaster. Now, I want to play a clip and sort of respond to some comments made by CSP, a podcaster that I listen to try to learn more about, the gang life in Chicago. It really is fascinating. And he's talking about how not all gang members in this particular set, FBG, not all of them are the same caliber.
Like, everybody in FBG is not of the same caliber, bro. Like, they all FBG, but they all different calibers. So look, you do your background check on Dutchy. Like, when you do a background check on Dutchy and Young, different shit come back. Like, you do a background check on Dutchy, it's gonna be some shit that come back that's gonna say that from him, he participated in some shit. He was out here doing shit, he was involved in a few situations, you know what I'm saying? But if you do a background check on Young, like, yeah, Young, cause you see him with guns and pictures and all that shit, you might have seen him on video with some guns and shit, but like, you do a background check on him, it's not really nothing gonna come back like how Dutchy shit gonna come back, or how like Cash shit gonna come back, or how Wooski shit gonna come back. Like, Young shit don't come back like how, so it's like.
Now, this is FBG Young who he's talking about. This guy right here, FBG Young.
Shit gonna come back like Young shit don't come back like how, so it's like Young don't really garner the respect that the other FBGs garner.
Now, the reason why he's pointing this out is because FBG Young got shot by a member of another gang set that they were allied with. And the person who shot Young with his own gun. They took Young's gun from him. Like, this is my gun now. And then end up shooting him with the same gun he took from him. And then after he shot him, they was hanging out on their block.
FBG, but he don't, there's levels to this shit. Like, we all know that, if you had the rank Wooski, as far as this type of shit, that Wooski, his shit come back. Like, Wooski damn near garner the most respect out of all the FBG members when it come down to some street shit. Then you got motherfuckers like Cash and Dutchy, you know what I'm saying? Then you got motherfuckers like Duck, even though, you know what I'm saying?
No. I gotta correct him right there. Gotta correct him. He went from Wooski to Cash and then to Duck. Duck was mainly a rapper. And this is by CSP's own, estimation of Duck. That Duck didn't have no bodies. He wasn't a killer. He wasn't a shooter. That he shot at people and shot people, but he wasn't no killer. He didn't have no bodies. You went from Wooski, a known hitter, a driller, almost straight to Duck. There's a whole lot of them hot heads in between that jump. There was a lot of them little knuckleheads out there in that STL, EBT, FBG clip. 1 second. Get this. Okay, and when it comes to that little FBG clip, there's really more little hothead demons than I can remember. But I'm gonna do my best to name off a few. That list should have been way longer than that before you get to FBG Duck. And honestly, when you're talking about like street stuff, I would place Duck above Wooski. Yes. Because Duck would break Wooski's neck. He would snap Wooski in half. With a gun, anything is equal. If you ask me, the people who get the most respect in the streets are the people who willing to throw hands, who willing to slap somebody around. You can give the goofiest person a gun and they can shoot it. So I don't really rate a person's willingness to fire a Roscoe. I just don't. But when you look at that little gang set over there, it's pretty crazy. You got to remember, STL was created by Dutchie, who was another hothead. Dutchie was well known for doing dirt, as they call it, putting in work. That was actually Dutchie's picture in here, right here. This is Dutchie. Remember, STL was created by Dutchie and C-Ball. C-Ball was not a goofy. He was very much a demon. He was very much a demon. And C-Ball was I think he was one of the older guys. And it's rumored that he had bodies and that he's been involved in multiple shootings. He was the one who actually trained and mentored people like K.I. Okay? So, if you're going to put Wooski at the top, you got to go to under Wooski, C-Ball. And I don't even know. C-Ball is probably worse than Wooski. You had FBG Brick, who was another hothead who everybody talks about as having done a lot of dirt, did a lot of dirt in the city of Chicago. Okay, he was in jail, beating up people in jail, well known for beating up a bunch of people in jail, and it's rumored that he has a body or two. He was putting in work for Beam Team, which was his original set, as well as STL. STL. He wasn't a part of EBT. But STL, EBT is pretty much the same thing. They all hung with each other and stuff like that. Okay, so you have Wooski, C-Ball, FBG Brick, Dutchie. You got that guy, Man, or Can't Get Right. He may have been a little goofy, but he was playing with guns. He had that demon in him. This is Man right here. Man / Can't Get Right. And this picture was back in the day. Because you can see here's Modell. Modell was still alive. So this was around what? 2012? 2011, 2012? And there's Man / Can't Get Right with a Roscoe. No, man. No. Now, Man was said to have, shot at people, may have unalived people. He has put in more dirt, possibly, than Duck. Because he was like Duck's shooter. Right? He was Duck's shooter. So was STL Lucky. Right? Before you get to Duck, wouldn't you mention these guys? Lucky was literally Duck's shooter. He was in a few videos with Duck, working security for Duck. Let me see if I could pull STL Lucky. See if I can pull one of his images up. In more than one video, you saw Lucky working security, running around with a Roscoe. Here he is right here. Y'all might remember this video. Here it is. Look at this. Look at it. You see that, right? I know it's small, but he's running around. Look at these images right here. Yeah, and it said that he was a well-known hitter. Okay? Before we get to FBG Duck, a guy is said to have not, been out there in the streets like that. He was mainly a music person. You also have to mention, in my opinion, you got to throw Lil P in there, or FBG Pressure. Most people don't pay that guy any attention. Lil P / FBG Pressure. But you have to also include G.I. Joe, K.I.'s brother, because he was another shooter who is rumored to have had bodies, right? G.I. Joe, he was groomed by C-Ball. G.I. Joe was C-Ball's nephew. C-Ball was the uncle of K.I. and the uncle of G.I. Joe. And he groomed both of them. You heard G.I. Joe tell a story where a couple of the older members gave him and Lil P blicks and told him, we about to go on a drill. We about to get wild. And he said that he popped out first. G.I. Joe popped out first, started blasting. This guy at the time was like 14, 15 years old. He was still a little teenager when he was doing this. There ain't no way that Lil P a little angel. Lil P ain't no angel. And STL, G.I. Joe ain't no angel. This is him right here. K.I.'s brother. His K.I.'s blood brother. K.I.'s real brother. And he is said to have taken part in the unaliving of, I think it was Lil A or Lil B or somebody from O Block who said to have taken out K.I. I forgot that guy's name. Some other shooter. So it's rumored that he had at least one body. G.I. Joe. I would name G.I. And he is in Duck's videos too, playing security. In fact, that video by FBG Duck and Mikey Dollars called, Fuckery. Duck pointed to G.I. Joe and referred to him as his shooter. He said, I'll call up my shooter, and my shooter said, nothing's gonna happen to. He pointed right at G.I. Joe. And G.I. Joe, no doubt, has been putting in, doing dirt since he was a kid. You heard that when he was 13, he got locked up for stealing cars. Dude had a warrant out for his arrest for stealing cars at 13 years old. They all had demon in them. All of them had demon in them. And I'm glad they coming out and saying it themselves. They telling people, yeah, we demons. They proud of it. Also, before you mention Duck, before you jump from Wooski to Duck, of course, like he did, he threw in FBG Cash. Cash, I know it shot people, and they hang around Wooski. If you hanging around Wooski, you doing something. You doing something. You're going to be getting into something, man. You're going to be getting into shootouts. You're going to be getting into beefs and whatnot. Ain't no angels hanging around FBG Wooski, period. And FBG Cash was hanging around Wooski. FBG Cash was hanging around Lucky, another one. And there's another guy. I always forget his name. I've never even really knew his name. Listen to this right here. Lil J is another one. Wouldn't you mention Lil J before you mention Duck? Lil J, we know, was out hanging with Lil B. Now, let me be clear. Anybody hanging with Lil B, you doing dirt. Flat out. You doing some dirt. He gonna make you. Lil B gonna make you be involved with something. He gonna be like, come with me. Come here. Come, let's go here, let's go there. And Lil B gonna jump something off. He gonna do something, and he gonna have you involved in it. But listen to this. This is Lil J talking about a comment that this guy made to FBG Young.
Jail to check DJU for telling FBG. Lil J calls in from jail to check DJU for telling FBG Young he used to smoke Tuka.
I just found out the goofy that you did, man, with Shorty Young, man. What's to that?
Talking about when I admitted to FBG Young about a Reddit comment I made.
Yeah, what's to you? You feel comfortable enough to say that?
Yeah, I felt comfortable enough to share with Young for sure. You know, it was a comment that I made some years ago.
Why you share with him out of all people? Like, everybody know he the goofiest all outside, man.
Now, you heard that? Lil J said himself. He said, everybody knows that Young is the goofiest dude on our side. The goofiest on our side. Okay, so you got a lot of people in between Wooski and Young, because he mentioned Young like right after Duck. You know, that Young was like the goofiest, the most innocent, didn't really do nothing. There's no rumors about Young doing anything to anybody. It's only rumors about him getting shot, and that's pretty much substantiated that he's been shot. And he got punked, you know, as he was being shot. So you got Lil B. Lil B was, I mean, come on. Lil B was right there with Wooski, if not worse. He was worse than Wooski. Lil B was probably worse than Wooski. The way he would dress up in order to get real close to his ops, to unalive them, that was maniac type stuff. He would dress up as a woman. He would dress up as a bum. He would hide in trash cans. You know, you dressing up as a bum, you laying on the ground under a blanket. I mean, and imagine you get up going to school, some dude pop out a trash can, start blasting. So that means he would camp out, maybe even for hours, waiting for people to walk by and stuff like that. This dude was a maniac. He was listed in over 30 incidents, police documents. It's well documented that this dude, this kid, because he died at 17, he was possessed by demons. He was a true lunatic. He was a lunatic. And you definitely have to throw him in there. And before I move on, let me point out something that's real strange. This guy, Lil B, is said to, he was well known to detach himself from people. And he would treat you like he's never even known you, even though he's been hanging out with you every day for years. You cross him, he would just treat you as if he never knew you. Now, to me, that's the mind of a psychopath, somebody who really can't connect and doesn't even try to connect, doesn't even really try to bond with other people. But yet, he had this tattoo on his chest. And I'm going to do a stream about this. These young boys growing up being abused, you know what they end up doing? They grow up ending up looking for that camaraderie, looking for that love elsewhere, outside of their parents, outside of their mother, because they're being raised by single mothers. They feel hated and despised by their mothers, so they go through life trying to get that deep bond with others. And it's usually their fellow gang members. That's why in Chicago, the gang members, your family, your fellow gang members, they're more important than even family members in most cases, from what I hear. In many to most cases. This guy got R.I.P. Boss Trail tattooed on his chest. And he is not even from EBT, STL. He moved there in like what, 2008, 2009? He was in a whole different set. So he couldn't have known Boss Trail for that long, but he felt close enough to him to get him tattooed on his chest after he was unalive. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Now, after Wooski, of course, you got Cash. He was a little hothead, always in jail, always in prison. He's admitted to having shot people. He was definitely robbing people. That was one of the reasons why he got locked up. He was robbing people. And if we're talking about that area over there, you got to include Tutu. He was out here doing dirt. I know he's from Gyro, but that's pretty much the same thing. Them Gyros, he always used to hang out. Same thing with Man. He used to hang out on Gyro. It was pretty much the same thing. Tutu was out here doing all kind of stuff. Robbing people, shooting people, unaliving people. Also throw in Tuka himself. A lot of people, and this is one of the main things I want to talk about. A lot of people talk about Tuka as if he was so innocent. Oh, Tuka, I heard more people talk about Tuka like this than I can remember. Oh, he was only 15. He wasn't on nothing. I think I heard even CSP say, oh yeah, Tuka wasn't on nothing. I remember FBG Brick got up there in an interview and said, oh, he was only 15. He never did anything to anybody. Now, I don't know about that. He was the same way. Look at this tweet that he made. What did I do with that tweet? He made a tweet. I'm gonna have to pull it up, where it was a rap. He rapped a tweet, basically put his rhymes online. Here it is right here. And then one of his enemies stole it and put it in one of his own songs. This is a tweet that Tuka tweeted a month before he was unalived. December 29th, 2010. He was unalived in January 2011. He said, catch him, leave him slumped. Now his body just laying. Now they miss you. Just like Mo, fool. Oh, boo-hoo. He went to school. He was a good dude. Now he's cooked food. And I'm the chef. Yeah, I cook, dude. So he, in this tweet, is taking credit for a body and mocking the dead. It's also said that Tuka was one of the first kids to mock the dead. Remember, Tuka was unalived at age 15. This is crazy stuff. The kids was out here involved in, this level of demonic activities. Not only was he claiming the body of this, who is it, Lil Mo from Lamron? He wasn't only claiming the body, he was mocking the guy in death. That's not an innocent kid. He was possessed by that demon too. That is not innocent. Remember also, Tuka was a wrestler. And it's said that he used to get into a lot of fights, that he fought a lot of people from O Block. Okay? So he was violent. He was violent. That's one of the reasons he was a wrestler. He decided to be a wrestler. And they used to talk about how strong he was and how good of a fighter he was. Okay? So you dissing the dead, you claiming to have unalived somebody. And remember also, Wooski claimed that him and Tuka used to go on drills, or at least went on one drill together. Like I said, you hanging around Wooski, you doing something. You doing something. Dutchie, if you look on the internet, you'll find a picture of Dutchie in a car. In a car with K.I., Lil B, and Crecilio. Cray Cray. Throw Cray Cray in there, but he's from EBT. But again, they was all hanging with each other. You can't hang with those older EBT members and Be No Angel. They pretty much groomed the younger STL guys. The older EBT members basically groomed the little STL cats. So you in traffic, you in a car with Lil B. And another thing, if you hanging with Lil B, you out here doing something. Because Lil B did not really hang with people who wasn't into doing dirt like himself. So you in a car, you in traffic with weapons, with Lil B, with Cray Cray, you putting in dirt. You doing dirt. And Dutchy was right there in that car. He was in that car. Now I'm gonna mention another one that might be controversial. Billionaire Black. Billionaire Black. It's not said that he done nothing, but he claims to have, done some robbing, growing up on the low end and whatnot. See, the thing is, Duck, he got out of using weapons like shooting people, going on drills, primarily going on drills. And I believe when they say because he was so noticeable. He was too big. You too big to be going on drills. You'll get caught and thrown in jail in no time. He got out of it early and focused on music. Okay? But at that time, Duck had already beaten up so many people and established himself as a bully that all the younger guys, they were okay with him being a leader because they knew this guy is tougher than us. So at a relatively early age, Duck sort of got out of that type of life. Well, I can't really say that. Duck was not innocent. A lot of people try to paint Duck as like innocent. Dude was not innocent. He mocked a lot of dead people in his music. He mocked a lot of dead people. And I personally believe that he shot at a lot of people. He's done some shooting, man. It's rumored that he's the one who shot T-Roy after T-Roy was let out. Okay? And if you got King Von hunting you down, you most definitely, you gonna keep a ratchet. Okay? And you willing to use it. Okay? Because around, 2012? I think it was around 2012. Von was mainly looking for Duck. He took out Dale, Modell, okay, P5 and whatnot, but they were mainly looking for Duck, and they couldn't find him. There ain't no way Duck was running around unarmed. And remember, Duck, he has a lot of mug shots. And he told a story where he was running from the police, and the police said, "Come here, Duck. We know you got a gun. And I believe it. He used to run around with a Roscoe all the time, just like all the rest of them. Now, this one is Lil P. He looked innocent. Yeah, he wasn't innocent. Like I said, them little STL dudes, they was groomed by the older EBT guys. Cray Cray, So Icy, Chicken, Taki. They was crazy. Them EBT dudes was crazy. And they was putting all kinds of pressure on, Trap City, TYMB. They was taking out their members like back to back. If you groomed by EBT, you are a group of demons too. You're a group of demons too, man. Modell used to like to go to church. This is Modell right here. I mean, just take a look at how much influence the environment has on you, how much of an impact it has on your psyche. Modell used to play, I think, some type of instrument in the church band. He loved going to church. But yet, look at him. He was changed when he found the corpse of his brother. He found his own brother's corpse. How can that not drive you crazy? Well, a lot of these youngsters, they get driven crazy because of the environment that they grow up in. And it's a cycle that just, it's like, can't be stopped. It can't be stopped. You always got somebody running around looking for somebody in your neighborhood, on your block, right? Your gang. And if they take somebody out, there's always going to be a group of people in your gang who want to get back at them. They ride around, they get somebody else, and then they want to get revenge, and that cycle never ends. So no, there's a whole lot of people in between Wooski and Duck ain't innocent. And really, Young, he's the only one you could probably argue is kind of innocent a little bit. I mean, he had a lot of violence in his lyrics, but I don't remember him ever dissing the dead that I can recall. But them little knuckleheads, if you ask me, virtually all of them was hotheads, willing to use weapons, willing to unalive somebody. They was out here doing stuff, robbing people. Remember, K.I. trained some of those Taekwondo shorties how to rob people. Told them to focus on robbing older people. Because older people, a lot of them, they don't play with ratchets no more. Right? She was grooming them. Just like she herself was groomed by Seaball. There's another guy that I need to bring up here that I've seen on a bunch of videos, and I know that he is one of their hitters. You know, some of these guys you look at, you know they putting in some dirt. Let me see. Yeah, that guy talking on the phone or pretending that his Roscoe was a phone. He had like a drum magazine or something like that. Here it is right here. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of those guys from FBG, STL that we really don't even know. You know, they wasn't out here like that. This guy right here. Who is this? Who is this? Acting like he on the phone, but he got the Roscoe with a drum clip. Let me show you something. Cash. Hey, let me show you something right now. There's that Wooski guy again. There's Lucky again, right, in this video. And here, there's that same guy right here. That's the same guy that was holding that Roscoe up to his ear, acting like he was on the phone. If this guy is hanging around Lucky, Wooski, Cash, and man, I would not be surprised if Young has actually at least shot at somebody before. At least. You hanging around these dudes, man, yeah, you highly suspect. Highly suspect. So yeah, man, I don't look at none of these gangsters really as goofies who ain't on nothing. No, they all on something. They was all dangerous. They cannot escape. They cannot sidestep. They cannot avoid the environment. They cannot avoid the demons that permeate throughout those communities. They're really in a state of emergency. They've been in a state of emergency for a long time. Okay? And that's just across the board. Across the board. Salute to everybody in the chat. I'm going to leave it there. See y'all on the next live.